Historically, if you're running big GPU intensive workloads and your compute jobs are churning and churning and churning, sometimes GPUs fail.
By the way, this is not news because everybody has GPUs that fail.
That's right.
Regularly. This is, hardware is hardware. Our hardware is no different from any others. We try to keep it working better because we've got nicer conditions for it to work in the data centers and got a lot of best practice about managing it, but stuff still breaks, right?
That's right. You could have long-running compute jobs, especially on nodes where there are multiple jobs co-resident on one EC2 instance. And that's a pretty common use case because many EC2 instances or instance types have, 1, 2, 4, multiple GPUs. So the challenge was that the GPU would fail.
And they would find a dirty GPU, a GPU that just failed in the middle of a job.
Yes.
And they would eject it from their cluster. But then it would just come back a few minutes later. Because, of course, it's not like it goes anywhere. It goes back into the EC2 fleet.
So here's how the health check works. Every Slurm job now, optionally, the customer turns it on, every Slurm job gets a custom prologue. And that prologue fires up NVIDIA's data center GPU manager and basically does a quick smoke test on the GPU. Test the software stack, test memory bandwidth, memory connectivity, etc. Is this GPU okay? If the health check passes, then the job goes ahead and runs as intended. If it doesn't, two things happen. One, the Slurm job itself gets re-queued. So we treat this as a failed node, which is a standard thing in HPC. It gets re-queued. So the job goes and proceeds as normally, maybe just with a little bit of delay.
Rescheduled to another node where it's going to find a better happiness.
Importantly, the node gets marked as down, so no more work can get scheduled on it, and then it's eventually removed from the queue. And all of this is also logged extensively in CloudWatch, so if you're interested in reporting that to EC2 customer support.
So how long does that health check run for? Like how many minutes does it take to actually run those smoke tests?
It's really fast. On a full multi-GPU node, it takes no more than 3 minutes. Usually it takes about 10 to 20 seconds.
Oh, right. So it's 10 to 20 seconds.
Overhead.
Right. So this is a tiny amount of overhead. It's worth doing if your jobs are running more than a few minutes. And I mean, obviously, if they're running, most of these jobs are running in the order of hours, tens of minutes to hours, and sometimes days. Perfectly sensible thing to do. Okay.
And in fact, you can configure health checks at the cluster level, so you can just turn it on for everything. By the way, if you turn on health checks for compute resources for nodes that don't have GPUs, it just passes silently and moves on.
So you can turn it on at the cluster level.
And that's the easiest thing to do, just turn it on at the cluster level. But if you need to turn it on or off at the queue level, you can do that. Or if you need more granularity, you can turn it on or off at the compute resource level.
Okay, that's cool. And that's released in ParallelCluster 3.6.
That's right.
If you're enjoying these videos, please give us a like and consider subscribing to the channel so that we can keep making more to help you understand how the cloud works and to show you new ways to help all the scientists and engineers around you who use HPC every day to do amazing things. It's what gets us motivated as well. See you next time.